Every April, as the night fog rolls over the tracks, an eerie whistle pierces the silence, followed by the distant rumble of a ghostly train. But this isn't just any train. It's the funeral train of President Abraham Lincoln. For over a century, witnesses claim to have seen its spectral form, heard the sorrowful wails of unseen passengers, and felt an unshakable chill in the air. Is this just legend, or is Lincoln's final journey still replaying itself in the afterlife? Tonight, we uncover the terrifying truth behind the screaming train of Abraham Lincoln's funeral route. April 1865. America was in mourning. President Abraham Lincoln, the man who led the nation through the Civil War, had been assassinated. To honor him, a grand funeral procession was planned, a 1,600-mile train route that would carry his body from Washington, D.C. to Springfield, Illinois. The train, draped in black, passed through 180 cities and 7 states, allowing thousands to pay their last respects. The journey lasted over 2 weeks, with people lining the tracks in silence, some collapsing in grief as the train passed by. But what no one knew then was that Lincoln's train was not just carrying his body. It was setting the stage for one of the most chilling hauntings in American history. As the years passed, eerie stories began to surface. Every April, near the anniversary of Lincoln's death, witnesses claimed to see a ghostly train moving along the old funeral route. It wasn't just a fleeting shadow. Some reported hearing the steady chugging of its iron wheels, the hiss of steam, and even the distant sound of a military drum. But the most horrifying detail. Some say they hear whispers, faint sobbing, or the toll of an unseen bell. Others claim to see a skeletal conductor standing at the front of the phantom locomotive, staring straight ahead, guiding a train of the dead. If you stand close enough to the tracks, the air turns deathly cold, and an overwhelming sense of grief and unease washes over you. Then, just as suddenly as it appears, the train vanishes, leaving nothing but silence in its wake. The legend of Lincoln's ghost train has persisted for over a century. Locals, railway workers, and even skeptics have reported strange occurrences near the old tracks. One chilling account comes from a man in New York who was out for a walk near a now-abandoned railroad line. He claimed to have seen a black-draped train emerging from the fog, its windows lined with flickering candlelight. As it approached, a sudden gust of wind knocked him backward, and just as quickly as it had appeared, the train disappeared into the night. Another account from Illinois describes a group of people waiting near an old station for a routine train, only to be met with an overwhelming sense of dread. The air turned bitterly cold. The clocks on their phones froze at 10 p.m., the exact hour Lincoln's funeral train once passed through. And then, just as the wind howled, they heard it. The mournful sound of a steam whistle, followed by distant, sorrowful cries. Paranormal investigators believe that the energy of great tragedy never fully fades. Could Lincoln's funeral train be a replay of that fateful journey, trapped in a time loop? Some spiritualists claim that the overwhelming sorrow of a grieving nation imprinted itself onto the tracks, causing the train to reappear year after year. Others wonder if Lincoln himself is aboard the ghostly locomotive, unable to rest, forever journeying across America in search of peace. Skeptics argue that these sightings are just the power of suggestion, eerie coincidences fueled by stories passed down through generations. But for those who have stood along the haunted tracks, felt the icy grip of the supernatural, and heard the distant echoes of a train that no longer exists, the truth is undeniable. If you ever find yourself near an old railway line on a misty April night, and the air suddenly turns cold, if the wind carries a faint whistle, a distant drumbeat, or the cries of unseen mourners, step back. Because you might just be standing in the path of the screaming train of Abraham Lincoln's funeral route. and once it passes, you may never be the same again. What do you think? Could Lincoln's ghost train still be haunting the tracks after all these years? Or is it just an eerie legend passed down through time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you love spine-chilling paranormal stories, be sure to subscribe to Creepy Night for more terrifying tales from the unknown. Thanks for watching, and remember, some ghosts never rest.